IG adjusted her head wrap as she typed on her MacBook, the afternoon sun streaming through their beautiful city apartment. At 27, she was a successful tech consultant with smooth, dark skin and intelligent eyes that sparkled when she worked. Her husband, Khan, a tall, well-built 30-year-old businessman with a neatly trimmed beard, had built them a comfortable life with his successful ventures across town. For 3 blissful years, the couple had enjoyed their marriage, sharing dreams and laughter in their spotless home. IG's slender fingers danced across the keyboard as she finished a client project, her natural hair styled in elegant braids that framed her oval face. They had agreed to wait before having children, wanting to strengthen their bond first. The front door suddenly burst open. Mama Kenna, Ikane's 55-year-old mother, dragged her heavy traveling bag into the living room. Her stocky frame filled the doorway, her dark skin weathered from years in the village and her gray hair wrapped in a traditional head tee. Her stern face showed no warmth as she surveyed the room with disapproving eyes. "Mama, you're welcome. We didn't know you were coming," IG said, rising gracefully to embrace her mother-in-law. Her voice carried the respect she'd always shown, despite the tension that followed Mama's visits. "How dare you suggest I need permission to visit my own son?" Mama snapped, pushing IG away with surprising force. Her broad shoulders squared as she glared at the younger woman. 3 years of marriage and still no grandchildren. What kind of woman are you? IG maintained her composure, her dark eyes showing hurt but not anger. "Welcome, Mama. You look strong. Let me prepare something for you to eat," she said softly, retreating to the kitchen with the grace her mother had taught her. Mama's calculating gaze swept the immaculate living room before settling on IG's workstation. 2 laptops, a tablet, and multiple phones sat charging on the dining table, surrounded by cables and chargers. Her face twisted with rage as she understood what she was seeing. "So this is why this useless girl refuses to give my son children," she muttered, her voice dripping with venom. Without hesitation, she gathered all the expensive electronics in her arms and marched toward the bathroom, her heavy footsteps echoing through the house like thunder. The sound of splashing water echoed through the apartment as Mama submerged every piece of technology into the bathtub. IG returned from the kitchen minutes later, her brown eyes scanning the empty dining table where her life's work had been moments before. "Mama, where are my laptops?" IG asked, her voice trembling slightly. Her tall, graceful frame moved through the house as she searched, her braids swaying with each hurried step. Mama stood in the living room, her arms crossed over her ample chest, a satisfied smirk on her weathered face. "Maybe now your womb will finally open to give my son children. You think babies come through laptops and phones?" IG discovered her gadgets floating in the soapy water, months of work destroyed in seconds. Her usually calm demeanor cracked as she stared at the destruction, her dark hands trembling. For 3 years she had endured Mama's insults, hoping love would eventually win over the older woman's heart. "Thank you, Mama," IG said with chilling calmness, wiping tears from her high cheekbones. "You've shown me exactly who you are." When Ikane returned that evening, his tall frame filling the doorway, he found his mother lounging comfortably, trimming her nails. His handsome face showed surprise at seeing her unannounced visit. "Mother, hope you're fine," he said respectfully, his deep voice carrying the love he'd always held for her. "That useless woman you married spends her time behind laptops instead of giving us grandchildren," Mama declared, her dark eyes flashing with determination. "I'm not leaving until she's pregnant. In 3 months, if she fails, I'll find you." A proper wife. Ikane's jaw tightened, his usually gentle expression hardening. "Mama, please keep away from my wife. When we're ready for children, we'll have them." "She has bewitched you," Mama accused, her voice rising. "Your witch of a wife thinks she has won." In their bedroom, IG sat on the bed with her destroyed devices, her slender fingers attempting to dry them. Her beautiful face showed exhaustion, as she told Ikane she had accidentally spilled water on them. She couldn't risk him sending his mother away because of her, even though her heart was breaking. The next morning, IG's bare feet padded softly across the cool floor as she prepared breakfast. Her natural hair was wrapped in a colorful head wrap, and her dark skin glowed in the morning light. She found Mama already in the kitchen, her broad, frame moving confidently as she set the dining table with food she had prepared. "Can you ever make food as delicious as this?" Mama asked smugly, her weathered hands gesturing toward the plates. Her gray hair peeked from beneath her traditional head tie as she smiled wickedly. IG had endured enough. While Mama went to call a cane, she quickly grabbed salt from the kitchen and poured it generously into the food. Her movements were swift and silent. Years of grace, serving her well. Minutes later, Ekane sat at the table, his muscular frame relaxed as he smiled at his mother's gesture. He took a large bite and immediately spat it out, his handsome face contorting in disgust. "What happened to the food?" he asked, confusion evident in his deep voice. Mama tasted her own cooking and nearly choked. "Someone added salt to this food." IG emerged from the kitchen with a backup meal, her expression perfectly innocent. "Thank goodness I prepared this," she said sweetly, serving her husband while maintaining her act. "You little witch," Mama accused, her dark eyes blazing with fury. IG's tears began to flow as she masterfully played the victim. "Mama, why would you sabotage your own food to create problems between Ekane and me?" she whispered, her voice breaking convincingly. Ekane's protective instincts kicked in as he pulled his wife into his strong arms. "Mama, stop this madness. Why would you accuse IG of such a thing?" "You're believing her over me?" Mama asked, her voice cracking with disbelief. "Yes, because ever since you arrived there's been nothing but tension. IG has shown you nothing but respect, yet you continue to insult and humiliate her." IG looked up at her husband with soft, watery eyes. "I've tried, Ekane. I've truly tried. To be a daughter to her, but she doesn't want peace." The war had begun and IG was winning every battle with calculated precision. Days passed with IG executing her revenge with surgical precision. She bought an identical wrapper to Mama's favorite and began cutting it in the living room. When Mama saw this, her weathered face contorted with rage. "Is that my wrapper?" Mama yelled, her stocky frame storming toward IG. The slap echoed through the house like thunder. IG's head snapped to the side, her hand flying to her stinging cheek just as Ekane entered the room. His tall frame froze at the sight. "She slapped me!" IG cried, pointing at Mama with trembling fingers. "She destroyed my favorite wrapper." "This wrapper isn't yours," IG said through fake tears. "I bought it because it reminded me of my late mother." Ekane checked Mama's room and found her own wrapper untouched in her box. His dark eyes filled with disappointment as he confronted his mother. "Mama, your wrapper is still here. Why would you accuse my wife and hit her?" Mama's confidence crumbled as she stammered excuses, but her son's trust was broken. The final trap came when Mama poured water across the hallway, hoping to make IG slip and lose her composure. IG walked out of the kitchen carrying breakfast, her graceful movements fluid until she hit the wet floor. The tray flew from her hands as she crashed down hard, her head striking the ground. Ekane found his wife unconscious, her beautiful face pale and still. "Mama, what have you done?" he demanded, scooping IG into his arms. At the hospital, the doctor's words changed everything. "Your wife is pregnant, 6 weeks along." Ekane's eyes widened with joy and disbelief. In the hospital room, he held IG's hand as she processed the news, tears of happiness streaming down her dark cheeks. He called his mother, who was already packing to leave. "Mama, IG is pregnant. You tried to destroy the woman carrying your grandchild. You nearly caused her to miscarry. I need you to leave before we return. I can't trust you around my wife during this delicate time." Mama sat in her car, broken and defeated. Her bitter heart had cost her everything, her relationship with her son and the chance to be part of her grandchild's life from the beginning. IG had won without ever raising her voice or lifting a finger in anger. The woman she had called barren was carrying the blessing she had prayed for, and now she would miss it all because of her own cruelty and impatience.